What's up, everybody? I'm back with a review of the Under Armour Clutchfit drives. These are the Stephen Curry away editions. These are actually still available on NBAstore.com. I know they sold out on a lot of other websites like Finish Line and Eastbay, but they popped up on the NBA store, and I think they are eligible for the coupons and codes that you can find for that website. So if you're interested in getting a pair, don't sleep. You should head over there and get a pair for yourself. They also have the Homes, which are the white ones. So really quickly, just for the record, these are not Stephen Curry's signature shoes. Guys like Kemba Walker and a few others are wearing their own editions. Because a lot of people, when I go to the gym, they're like, "Oh, you got the Steph Currys. How are the Steph Currys?" Technically, they're not his signature shoe. These are just his editions, and his first signature shoe, his actual shoe, is slated to drop next year. I think right around the All-Star break, if the internet rumors are true. And you can see pictures of those on various sneaker websites, so go check those out. Man, I just had to get these. I think these are pretty sick when I first saw them, and the Homes as well. And I missed out on the Spawn Stephen Curry editions. So when I saw these, I was just like, man, I gotta get these. I don't think the colorways are quite as nice as the Spawns. The Spawns had gradient on some of them, and even some of these Clutchfit colorways, the regular colorways have gradient, so it's very strange. The Stephen Curry editions are just either all black or all white. Kemba Walker, his pair has gradient, so that would have been nice, but it is what it is, and I still think they look pretty cool overall. So just a good looking shoe in my opinion. I just had to get them. In my opinion, I think they pick up right where the Spawns left off. The Spawns, to me, were one of the best performance shoes of last season. The value was incredible. They lasted for a long time. They felt great. They performed amazing. Really just one of the best shoes of last season, I think. And the price point as well was very good. Incidentally, I think 6 colorways right now are available on Eastbay and Champs and Foot Locker. I don't know what happened, but they have these like Team Bank looking colorways that are on sale for $75 right now. And those are also eligible for discount. So if you're interested in a pair, you might want to check a pair out on those websites. Okay, so talking about these, initially, step in comfort is really nice, when you put your foot in. The lining is pretty nice overall, pretty comfortable. There's no chafing or pinching or, spots like that. And the cushioning, the Micro G, you can feel it pretty immediately. And if you have yet to try Micro G, I highly suggest that you do. We'll talk more about why towards the end of the review, but yeah, it's just step in comfort is pretty nice, and it translates very well to the on-court action. So they remind me kind of like the Hyperdunk Elite, or maybe the 2011, if you tried those. Just a nice, sleek, slim-fitting shoe that hugs your foot pretty well. I think these are more comfortable, though, than the Hyperdunks. And really quickly, I'm sure you've seen plenty of pictures, but this is what the shoe looks like overall. You got the full-length herringbone on the outsole, obviously the Micro G cushioning, and then the really low cut in the rear of the shoe, right? That really low cut tapers up as you go forward, so it moves higher up, towards the front, and then you have the SC branding right there, which is also, the number 30. If you guys weren't aware of that, sorry. And there's also an SC imprint on the insole, so I don't think you can see that, but it's in there. So that's what the shoe looks like, right? I think they're true to size if we're talking about fit. Some people can go half size down. I tried on a half size down, and my pinky toes were getting crushed right along the edge there, so that was going to be a problem if I were to play in them. So I would, obviously, the best thing you could do is try them on yourself, but I think they're true to size if you can't try them on. And I never understood this idea for wide footers to go half size up. I understand that gives people more room with their toes and their feet and all that, but if we're talking about playing in them, if you get a shoe that's too long for you, and if you go half size up, it's your foot strike and toe offs are just less efficient, and you're gonna get a lot of discomfort. To me, I just never understood that. Maybe somebody could explain that to me, but I understand if you're wearing it for casual use, that makes a lot of sense. But to play in a shoe that's a half size too big for you, You know, if you're a wide footer, you're just kind of out of luck to me. You got to get a shoe that's true to size lengthwise, but accommodates the wide foot. You know, I never understood that reasoning. But anyway, so also in the traction pattern, it's full length herringbone, and I have no problem with this. I've seen some people online, you know, kind of complain that it's kind of boring and it's a little bit too simple. But to me, it's you know, I'm getting a performance basketball shoe to play in them. Like, of course, you want them to look good, but if they don't perform well, you know, what the hell's the point, right? So, looking at the shoe, it's just full length herringbone, and it's got you covered. The traction is really good. You do have to wipe occasionally, or at least I have to wipe where I play. That's true for every shoe I play in there. And then once I wipe, the traction is really, really good. I'll take performance like this over aesthetics every time. You know, a good example would be like the Kobe 5, where you had that outsole pattern. Actually, I have a pair. Let me grab one really quickly. Right here. Here's what the Kobe 5 outsole pattern looks like, and you know, it looks really cool. It's got like that heartbeat. I think it's like the EKG, something like that, EEG. I don't know, but you know what I mean. That beep beep beep. You know, and it looks really good, right? And it's like, oh, how's the traction on those? It could be better. So I hate, you know, like, what is the point of that? Like, it's cool to have the storytelling traction pattern, but if it's not going to perform well, I really don't see the point in that. You could have like the really nice, fancy looking upper and amazing cushioning system and comfort and all that. And then if it doesn't grip the floor well, you know, none of that stuff matters, right? So I really like the idea of just full length herringbone. Like, when I see that, I'm happy. And if you look at the Stephen Curry 1, they have a similar outsole pattern where it's full length herringbone. And again, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's gonna be nice, you know, when you're running on the ground. So that's the outsole. And again, I think traction is pretty good. It's up there, right? The weight, if you're talking about the weight, it's on the light side. I don't know the exact specs. You can find them online, but you know, it's not like one of the heavier basketball shoes. I know some of the shoes out there are a little bit heavier, and this is not one of them. So weight, there's no complaints for that for me. It's just when you hold it in your hand, you know, it's just a light shoe to me. So there's the weight. Transition is very important for me because I like to get up and run a lot. And I think the transition is pretty smooth from that heel strike, right, all the way until the toe off. It's very nice, very cushy. It just lets you move how you want to move, right? Not just in terms of full out running and sprinting, which I think is great, but also, you know, changing directions in the toes and, you know, running backwards, playing defense, the lateral movements going side to side, and just really every movement is going to have you covered. One thing I should say is sometimes the traction is, I guess, a little bit too good. If you've heard people describe that before, where sometimes your foot strikes the ground in a way that you weren't expecting, and it just grips really hard, and you have a chance of maybe twisting your leg a little bit. That did happen to me a couple of times in these. So I would say, just like any other shoe, you have to be very aware of and deliberate in every step that you're taking. But just overall, the movement and transition and court feel is just really amazing. It's very nice. When we're talking about ventilation, there's not too much to speak of. It's pretty much like a one-piece upper, and here you can see that seam where they stitched that, right? You do have the mesh in the tongue to let some heat escape there, and that's about it. To me, it's not really an issue. It might be an issue if you're going to be playing really long sessions, but I've never played in a shoe where ventilation was a big problem, and I looked down and said, oh my god, my feet are really damp right now. I've played in a lot of popular shoes, and I've never experienced anything like that, but some people are more sensitive in that area, so that might be an issue for some people. But again, in the longer sessions, that's where it might bother you. This is just kind of closed off, and that might actually be good if you're going to be walking in the rain. Maybe it'll keep some of the water out, but overall ventilation is probably not one of its strong points. So overall, I think the value is pretty good. You know, they retail for $125, and again, they're not excluded from discounts. Well, they are on certain websites, but other websites you can use coupon codes and things like that. And again, it's not Curry's signature, but it is what he's wearing, and you guys obviously see what Stephen Curry is doing in these. So they're really solid performance shoe, right? And if we're talking about foam-based cushionings, you know, I think the Rose 5 is about $140 retail, and you can get those on discount too, but you know, this starts at a higher price point. And then I don't even want to talk about something like, you know, the Kobe's and the LeBrons, and their price points are pretty insane. And I don't think the price justifies their performance there. So about Micro G, you know, I talked it up in the Spawn review, and you've heard a lot of other people, you know, review the cushioning system. It's really great. That's the best way to say it, I guess. When I think about foam cushioning, there are like kind of three categories. I guess it would be overall responsiveness and bounciness, and then you have longevity and durability, and you also have like impact protection for those big, you know, hard landings. So I think Micro G individually beats all of the other foam cushionings in each of those categories. It's very responsive and springy. It's very bouncy, and it has you covered in the hard landings, right? And it just lasts longer than the other cushionings. Again, I haven't tried Boost yet, so that might be a little bit different now. But compared to something like Lunar Lawn and Adiprene Plus, it's superior. And I don't think it's even a question to me. Again, I don't think it's just the best foam cushioning, but it's one of the best cushioning systems, even compared to like air-based cushionings. I would highly, if you're looking for a foam-based shoe, I think Micro G is very hard to beat at the moment. But again, I have yet to try Boost, so maybe that's up there along with Micro G, and I've heard very good things about Boost as well. So that's a little bit about Micro G. It's really just, it's worth trying. Okay, it's amazing. Again, these are available on nbastore.com right now. I think they sold out on a lot of the other websites, but as of this moment, I think there are full-size runs on NBA Store for both the away and the home colorway. I would highly recommend that you give these shoes a try if you're looking for something that's like more guard or forward oriented. I think you would, you know, develop a pretty good appreciation for Under Armour and their cushioning systems and basketball shoes, especially for how young the company is and how new they are to this market. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please, you know, leave something for me, and I'll take a look at them and try to respond. And yeah, thanks guys.